Hi, did you know foodborne illnesses kill thousands of people in the U.S. each year? 48 million people become ill from something they ate. Could be chicken, could be lettuce, or it's the responsible pathogens on these foods, such as E. coli, the norovirus, and salmonella, that are responsible for the illnesses. The major pathogens causing the trouble are salmonella, which is the number one killer, found on chicken, raw eggs, and meat, or fish, excuse me. The norovirus, which I call the cruise ship virus, is easily contacted from person to person and from countertops. And leafy vegetables, which you find at like the salad bar. E. coli, we've heard quite a bit about in the news with a romaine recall. Several people died from that one. So lettuce and meat, ground meat, and pasteurized, non-pasteurized juice and milk are responsible for carrying E. coli. Of the reported illnesses, 80% of all illnesses, foodborne, have no specific cause. They cannot trace it back to a specific food or to a specific pathogen. Now, these symptoms vary. So how do you know if you have the stomach flu? If you have nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, fever, and pain, it's likely. If it comes on within 12 to 72 hours, the norovirus or salmonella could be responsible, or 3 to 4 days it could take for E. coli to make itself known. If you feel as though you have these symptoms and you're at home, the only treatments you can really have are to drink plenty of fluids to keep yourself dehydrated. But if you have symptoms of a temperature of 101.5, you have blood in your stools, you can't keep liquids down, you become dehydrated, which looks like you're dizzy when you stand up, your mouth is dry and you're not really peeing, or you have diarrhea for 3 days, it's time to go and see a doctor. Now, there's some of us who are more susceptible to these symptoms. That would be children, pregnant women, those with compromised immune systems, and the elderly who want to take extra precautions to make sure that they're kept safe. So how is our food being kept safe? Well, the food industry, it behooves them to make sure that they're giving us a product that's safe, right? They want to make a profit. They want us to buy their food. So they are somewhat self-regulated. There's regulations put into place, but they generally, if they find something that could have potential harm to the consumer, they do a recall, which gives a public announcement of what's being recalled and what to do with it, whether or not we're to destroy the food or to bring it back to the retailer. Now, this is fine and great to let us know once the source is out there, but we, the consumer, have a responsibility to make sure that we're doing all that we can to protect our families and ourselves from foodborne illnesses. Now, the CDC, it's a great site. You click on the CDC, you'll find just about anything you want to find to make sure that you're keeping yourself protected and ways that the communities can also stay safe. So the number one thing is to keep clean. That means keeping your hands clean from beginning to end. Wash your hands before, during, and after food preparation, and before you place anything into your mouth. Your utensils, your cutting boards, and your counters, you want to make sure that those are clean. And then you want to make sure you're rinsing your fruits and your vegetables before you consume them. When it comes to raw meats, you want to make sure you're keeping those separated. And I keep them separated from the store to the plate. Not keep them separated in the carts, keep them separated in the refrigerator, keep them separate in preparation. You want to make sure that you're not cross-contaminating your plates with raw meats with fresh fruits and vegetables or uncooked foods, such as that. And then when you're cooking your food, you want to use a food thermometer to make sure that your foods are reaching an internal temperature that's safe. For ham, fish, and for meats, you want to reach a temperature of 145. For ground beef, Ground meat, you want 160. And for poultry, what I found interesting here, leftovers and casseroles, you want an internal temperature of 165 degrees. And then if you remember nothing else, just remember to keep your food cold, right? Keep cold foods cold, hot foods hot. So cold foods, you want to refrigerate your perishables within 2 hours. If the temperatures outside are above 90 degrees, get that food in the refrigerator within an hour. Thaw your foods in the refrigerator, in cold water, or in the microwave. Never thaw your foods on the countertop. Keep them out of the danger zone. You want to keep them below 40 degrees or above 140 degrees to make sure that they're kept safe. So, to conclude and to reiterate here, food poisoning is more than just a 24-hour bug. It's costly. $152 billion it costs the U.S. economy each year. 43 million people are sickened and 3,000 people die each year from something they ate. Now, it's great that the food industry does all of these things, but we as the consumer are the last layer of protection for ourselves and for our families. So we want to do what we can do to make sure we keep things safe, right? Keeping things separated from grocery to plate, making sure we're washing our hands before, during, and after food preparation, and before we eat it. Keeping foods out of the danger zone, right? Keep foods below 40 degrees and above 140 degrees. Taking these simple precautions, these day-to-day steps, will help keep our families and ourselves from falling victim to foodborne illnesses. Here's a rule of thumb for you. When in doubt, throw it out. Here's hoping your next meal is a safe one. Thanks for listening.